It is a do or die for Bafana Bafana when they face neighbours Namibia in that 10 p.m. kickoff tonight. Bafana need to win this match against their neighbours if they are to have a solid chance of progressing to the knockout stages. It is indeed pressure time for Hugo Broos and his men. One man who knows all about the pressure is former Bafana Bafana striker Katlego Mashego, who joins us now to preview this huge game. Katlego, a very good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kwena, and thank you for having me, and good evening to your viewers.
Well, before we talk about Bafana Bafana, I know you were at a soccer match. Did you guys win?
Yeah, of course. Where I play, I always win. I play to win. We just won now, and I think we won 6-1 or something, and I scored a hat-trick. So I wish I could transfer that to Bafana Bafana tonight.
Well, I guess the winning spirit continues, and we hope that it will continue to that game. Now, yeah. It is a big game tonight, a must-win, as we say. But I want us to go back, Katlego, and look at the first game against Mali. As much as we lost, yeah. I don't think we played that bad. What went wrong, in your opinion?
I always say, or people always say, people who are in football, they'll always tell you that international football is about moments, you know, because you are in a squad where you hardly train together, so you are from different teams and different environments from where you come from. But when you are in the national team, you need to wait for your moments, and when you get a chance in those moments, you need to make a difference. I think Bafana Bafana had the perfect first half. They should have won. Not necessarily they should have won, but I think they should have led that game going into halftime. They should have been 2 or 3-0 up in that game. They had the moments, but they didn't take their chances, and their moments came and went without them doing anything. And when the second half came, it changed. Mali got their moments, and they scored 2 goals. And that's basically how international football works. It's different from club football, where you can fix it in the next game, can work on the combinations and all that. But international football is about moments, and Bafana Bafana failed to take their moments in that game, and Mali did.
Well, as they say, as cliche as it is, Katlego, it was indeed a game of 2 halves. And I think that's something that Bafana Bafana need to be wary of going into the game tonight. But do you think it came down to tactics in the second half, where we could not match the experience of the Mali team? And looking at that, the fact that most of them are players that play abroad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Mali has players that play in the Bundesliga, in the French league, I mean, everywhere. But I think we matched them in the first half. If we had taken our moments in the first half, the game would have been different, because the players from Mali knew that they're going to be up against it at a certain time in the game, and they might have chances. And when they got their chances, they were ready and they took their chances. So I think Bafana Bafana tonight needs to wait for their moments. When they get their moments, they should capitalize and take those chances and score goals, because this tournament football is about goals. It's about winning. It's just about being in a moment where you need to win games. You can't go and rely on other teams to do you a favor and whatnot. But Bafana Bafana tonight needs to know when their moments arrive, they need to be ready for it.
Should we expect Coach Hugo Broos to make any major changes for tonight's game?
I would think at centre back, I wouldn't want to be negative and say our centre backs didn't play well, but I would think he would try and work on the centre backs and maybe on the wings, because I think the supply to evidence Mahopa was little to non-existent. I mean, he's a striker, he's our number 9. We need to feed him the ball. We need to have midfielders that need to create, that take joy in creating goals for the strikers. And I think we lacked that in the first game. Even, I mean, I would think centre back, and especially on the wings, he would need to make drastic changes.
So who does he bring in? Grant Kekan? Where should he specifically tweak when you look at our defense?
I would, well, if it was for me, thank God I'm not a coach of Bafana Bafana, but I would keep the synergy of the Sundowns team going. I would play a whole a back four of Mamelodi Sundowns. And let's see what that happens, because you have Grant Kekana can come in for Sianda Kulu. You keep Mbala there. You keep Kuliso Mudao on the right. And you bring a Terence Mashigu on the left back. And you push a Mudiba who was doing well against Mali, and he had chances and he was troubling them. But he was a bit far. He was far too back. He played at left back and he couldn't do anything. So I think because he has played there at Sundowns, he has played as a left winger, he has played as a false a winger, playing as a sort of a number 10. So he understands that role of going forward and scoring goals. So I would keep a Sundowns back 5, 4 Sundowns defenders, and plus a goalkeeper and a Mokoena. Probably take a Mudiba and push him further up.
Another factor that most soccer fans talk about, Katlego, is the lack of creativity in the middle of the park. Traditionally, South Africa, we have those creative players that are able to break down, but also create and supply. Where do we fix that problem? I mean, Themba Zwane is expected to do that, to control the game and dictate the pace. I found him a little bit lacking in the first game.
Yeah, in the first game he was playing at a different level, a different international level. I'm sure they would have scouted him and saw his strong points and saw his weak points. And I felt like in the first game, the game was sort of leaving him behind. You know, I don't know, that would be age or lack of legs, because he's not a quick player, but the game was sort of leaving him behind. And we don't have that player in the middle of the park who takes joy in creating. I mean, all the successful national teams that we had players who took pride and joy in creating for the strikers. Your Dr. Kumalos, your Shoes Musheo, your Teko Mudises, your Steven Pinars, the pass that Kagiso Dikhacho gave to Shabalala in the World Cup. Those are the midfielders that we need. But I don't see in this current team a midfielder that would take pride in creating for the strikers. You know, they would want to take the glory for themselves and all that. But I still think we need to nurture the younger ones, especially maybe the ones that are coming, to take pride in creating for the strikers, so that we can not have this conversation of our strikers are not scoring goals. Even as Makgopa was doing when he was holding the ball up, but he wasn't serviced. He didn't get in a single chance to a single sniff at goal, because there was no one who was creating for him. So I don't know how the coach is going to work with that, because he has already got his 23 players. He can't add any more, but we will wish him all the best and we'll pray for him, and we hope tonight is our night and things go for us.
Let's look at the strike force then. As you've just mentioned that the creativity is needed, but to provide for the strike force, we know the absence of Mutiba, the absence of Lyle Foster also leaves a very big gap. How do we solve that strike force problem up front, particularly for tonight, knowing that we're playing against a Namibia team that is quite fast?
Yes. When you go into a tournament and you select your strikers, as a coach, you rely on those people to win you games. Because football is a simple game. It's a game that says you need your strikers to score, and the game is won on goals. So once you have an evidence, Makgopa as your number 9, is wearing a number 9 in the Bafana shirt, you need to give him all the confidence for him to score, because he's there to score. And I was arguing with people in the first game that if I was a coach, I would give Evidence Makgopa the penalty, the penalty in the game against Mali. He scores that, he's a bit more confident, he can demand the ball more, he'll get more chances, then he'll score. So I think we need to support him for him to score goals, and we need to give him all the confidence and supply him and create for him. So I think there's nothing we can do anymore. We can't change and bring other players. Evidence Makgopa is the only striker we have that can take us out of where we are now. He's the player that can win us the game. He's our number 9. He's wearing the number 9 of the national team. I think he needs to stand up today and tonight and be a Benny McCarthy of 1998.
And I'm glad you mentioned the fact that he needs to step up. And I think generally that's what's expected from the team. I mean, if you look at this, that it's a do-or-die game. So the entire team, and I want you to talk to us about that. In a moment like this, as somebody who has been in situations like this, have worn the Bafana Bafana jersey, what sort of pressure does the team face as we count on hours to kick off in a match that is do or die?
It's a big game. The mind will not forget. Well, you might do things that make you feel good. You might want to remember. I think the team should remember the good times. They should remember the games that they've played well. They should remember the good things that they've done for the national team, for them to be in this AFCON, for them to have a chance to go to the last 16 and to go to the semi-final, and ultimately, obviously, they would want to win the cup. So the only thing they need to do is to only remember the good times, positive thoughts only. They shouldn't worry about what the other team is doing or how the game of Mali and Tunisia finished yesterday. They would need to win the game, and for them to only think positive things will help them to go into the game thinking they can win it. Because we would want to go into the game thinking we're going to beat Namibia. I mean, Namibia, our neighbors, half of their players play in our league. So we have the better players, but we would need to want it more. We would need to fight for every ball, and we would need to show the big players that are there for Bafana, your Percy at Al Ahly, they need to show up. They need to come up and be counted as players that have played for this national team and did something for this national team. And today, I think it's their chance.
So let's touch a little bit on Namibia, if we still have Katlego. It looks like we lost the connection to Katlego. We'll try and re-establish that connection. But of course, we're still looking ahead at that game, Bafana Bafana in action